how surprised are you that we're looking at the Miami Dolphins as one of the few unbeaten teams at 3-0?
Boy, I tell you, they find a way to get it done, don't they? They came from behind in this one. The Raiders, by the way, they know how to lead at halftime, don't they?
Yep, they're 3-0. If the game ended after 2 quarters, the Raiders would be unbeaten. Here's the problem: you got to finish.
It has been really somewhat amazing to me. In all honesty, I still can't figure out Miami.
Yeah.
Can you sit there and look at them and say, oh, yeah, I got this team down? I mean, Tannehill, give him credit for what he's doing. 3 touchdowns, not turning the ball over, no interceptions in this one. Only had 6 incomplete passes. They didn't. It's not like they run the ball
41 yards.
I mean,
41 yards
under
on the ground.
3 yards per rush. So it's not like you're going, they're going to play a little smash mouth with you. And you look at the receiving. No receiver had more than 3 catches. But they have a number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that had at least 2. But that's basically what they had.
Right.
2 with 3 catches and 5 with 2 catches.
It's crazy.
So you look at it and you go, all right, nothing special, but 3-0. And then there are going to be those that are going to say, all right, well, let's look at the teams. They beat Tennessee, they beat the Jets, and they beat Oakland. Okay, but you know what? That's who was put in front of them.
The Jets were hot. I mean,
That's right.
The Jets were coming to their home opener after that huge Monday night win.
It's the NFL. Just ask the Minnesota Vikings.
Correct.
Okay?
Exactly.
When you're
right.
17-point favorite at home to the Buffalo Bills and you get smoked. So these are Miami Dolphins are beating professional teams, and they're 3-0. But it's tough for me to sit there and say, wow, that is a dominant 3-0 team. Like you look at Kansas City, even though their defense is shaky, you know they're going to put up a lot of points. I don't feel that way with Miami. Good test. New England coming off a bad performance. New England at home, and that's where Miami goes as we get to the first quarter poll of the season.
Yeah, I'll have a much better feel for Miami after what happens next week. Now, if they go in and make it close or make come away with a win, then we're talking. Look, I'll give Miami all the credit in the world. As you said, they can only play their schedule. But to have Tannehill back for the first time really in 2 years, it's clear that he and Adam Gase are on the same page. And the way he sort of mixed it up yesterday was really impressive. But you mentioned it, Mike. On the other side of this, the Oakland Raiders have had 3 halftime leads and have not been able to close any one of them. And they've been outscored every single time in the second half. And Jon Gruden, look, he's lost his last 7 games he coached. He lost the last 4 in 2008 when he was with Tampa Bay before he was out of the job there. And he's 0-3 in his return to Oakland. And John's trying to figure this thing out. This is going to come back until it's going to be a problem until it's not a problem. Once again, the Raiders had no pass rush.
No.
They got 1 sack. In 3 games,
They have 3 sacks.
They have 3 sacks. Now would be the time to remind everybody once again that in 3 games, Khalil Mack has 3 sacks. He also has 3 forced fumbles. So in every game, he's had at least 1 sack and a forced fumble. The last player to do that over 3 games was Khalil Mack a few years ago. So
for which team?
That would be for the Raiders. So this is a problem that they created, and they're going to look. We'll judge this thing in 3 years when we see what happens from those 2 first-round picks that they got back from Chicago. But at the end of the day, it's hard to walk away from the fact that the one thing that your team doesn't have is a closer, and you let that guy walk out the door, and you have not found a way to generate any pass rush. I mean, how long do you think Raider fans are going to be okay with this before they start saying, what did we do?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I agree with you. When you have an offensive side of the ball where right now your tight end and Jared Cook is your leading receiver, though Jordy Nelson
put
had
on a show yesterday.
I took him my first 2 weeks in the DraftKings and then said, I'm not going to take him again, and off he goes.
Oopsies.
Exactly. But, yeah, Jared Cook is your leading receiver right now for them. They don't have a great running game, averaging about 3.5 yards per carry there. And Derek Carr, you look at his completion percentage, it's 76%. The problem is 5 interceptions to 2 touchdowns.
Correct.
They're not getting the ball in the end zone enough. And as you mentioned, leading at halftime, but that says a whole lot about adjustments at halftime and how you come out prepared or less prepared after the half.
How much as a player, now I'm curious because we always hear that about halftime adjustments, and we see it a lot, especially in New England. When you were playing, how much were there halftime adjustments that actually went into the game?
Listen, while you look at overall, remember they were winning each time. So, but still, what happens is you're specific to your position. There's offense, there's defense. So you're together. You're not even when you go into the locker room at halftime. You get your drink or whatever, and then you settle into your side of the ball. There's no team gathering there until you're going to go out.
Right.
There's defensive side of the ball for me, and then after defensive side of the ball, it's defensive line side. So you're specific to your side of the ball. no matter what's happening in the game, what's going on. And this is what you're doing during the plays as well, during the series. Are you seeing what we saw in practice? Are you seeing what we have in the game plan? Are they throwing anything new at you? If they are, what is it? How are they blocking us? This is how they blocked it on film during the week. Are they doing this in the game? Are they blocking it differently? And that's all the things that we're talking about on the sideline during the series, and then at halftime, you kind of get a culmination of that by the half and see, okay, if they're doing that, we're going to go to this. Okay, we game plan this, it's not working as much, so this is what we're going to try. Put it up on the whiteboard and say, now, instead of this call, we're going to do this call. Now, instead of doing this, we're going to try this. And then you get down to the D-line, and you start talking about specific things there.
Yeah.
And then you go out and you try and prepare. Halftime is huge, and we've seen it certainly hasn't worked out well for the Raiders coming out of the locker room.
No, it hasn't.